Okay, so since I'm new to this, but some of you may not be, I just figured I'd go ahead and bring in some information. There's one mention they talk about the slotted tight tolerance hole. That's what it looks like, and it doesn't look a whole lot different from the other holes. Where we at? Yeah, it's a little better. Anyway, it doesn't look much different from the other holes. You can tell the left and right sides are just a little bit straight. I don't really see anywhere to mark it. I did a little bit of Dremel tool on there just to clean it up a hair, and I'll go ahead and clean all the other ones up when I reinstall the clutch, new clutch actually. But anyway, so that's what the tight tolerance hole looks like. You're supposed to take note of it. So it was the last bolt that I pulled out, so I'm taking note of it because it's on the bottom, and I'll just figure that out when I get the thing apart. On the top side, I got 3 bolts, 2 to the engine bell housing, and then the other one's the transmission mount on the driver's side. And in order to get these bolts out, it was a whole lot of figuring things out. Various videos and whatnot on YouTube sure made it seem like it was a lot easier than what I found it to be. But after consulting with some car gurus in my family who have been working on vehicles for a long time, I'll tell you what I've figured out. Pardon the ridiculousness. There's the every tool in the garage scenario that I'm sure many of you have experienced a time or two. And what I used was an old file. Just some crappy piece of file I picked up at some yard sale one time. I got like a dozen of them. And then what I used was some information that somebody had mentioned on the forums about the SRT-4 clutch install. So what I did was I used the cover plate, inspection plate, whatever we want to call it, and I put the file as necessary in each one of those slots. And when I started loosening it with a breaker bar, and I also ground down a socket, that file engaged the clutch as well as the transmission housing and kept everything nice and secure, because I tried screwing around with a second breaker bar on the drive shaft nut, and that was a waste of time. So I also tried squeezing as much as I could some wobble extensions and all that stuff in there, and wasn't going to work either. This was a tried and true method, so I'm definitely going to write this up and add it to the bottom of the clutch install, because I think this is probably the quickest and easiest way to get those clutch bolts out, because according to the manual, you're supposed to get the clutch bolts out before you drop the transmission. I'm not sure if there's a specific reason why or not, but that's what I did, as I'm that way. Anyway, so that's that, and tomorrow I'll remove the last 3 bolts, drop the transmission, and supporting the engine with a jack, or supporting the engine with a jack and a block of wood, support the transmission. I do not have a transmission jack, but I will probably ratchet strap the transmission to the jack just to be extra careful. And we'll go ahead and swap out the internals. So that's what I'm at right now. This is an insanely hard job, at least for someone who hasn't done it before. So, but anyway, hopefully this video helps somebody someday. That's all for now.